above rinkside at the War Memorial in Syracuse. Crunch 3, Penguins 2. Through 2 periods of play, Syracuse led 1-0, had to fight back to take that 3-2 edge. Here in the second intermission, we're joined by General Manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steve Yzerman, with us. Steve, thanks for joining us. Your thoughts on what you've seen 40 minutes of play between the Crunch and Penguins?
It's been a pretty high tempo first 2 periods, very competitive, a little bit scrambly at times, but it's a pretty entertaining game and both teams are playing hard.
What do you make of the goaltending change? It's the first time that we've seen Rob Zettler make a change during a game this year.
Well, it's Rob's decision.
Yeah.
We like both of these young goaltenders. Mania shoots the puck Begna shoots the puck pretty hard, and those are 2 pretty good shots. I know Rob wants to win the game. His standings are so tight, it's hard to, you don't want to drop any points. So, sitting up here, my thought was, well, he wants to win the game, and he's going to make any change he has to get there. But again, we like both of these goaltenders. They're solid. Just the ups and downs of the position.
Rob told us just earlier in the broadcast that even though the Crunch got a point last night in Hartford, he wasn't thrilled with the game. And sometimes you change a goalie just to spark the rest of the club. Does that happen sometimes?
Happens a lot. Don't ask me why it does, but it does. It changes the momentum of the game more times than not when you make the change. So, a lot of times the coach will have a tendency to wait till the 3rd goal. And it's hard to come back from down 1. It's hard to come back from down 2 when you're down 3. So an interesting move, and it seemed to settle things down.
And certainly pushing the right buttons. Crunch take the lead with 2 goals in that second period. Mike London scores 1. Had a hat trick a week ago. His first hat trick, 507th pro game. An acquisition for the Lightning organization this offseason. He's played over 100 games in the NHL. What did you see from Mike to bring him into the organization this year?
Well, I've had a chance to watch him play in the NHL a little bit. We've kind of projected him. It's really Julian and Pat and our scouting staff's decisions on which players we sign on 2-way contracts, the American League veteran guys. But you watch him tonight. He's playing a really good hockey game, and maybe playing the best we've seen him all season for us. So, but anyway, in the NHL, he's a big body for us in Tampa. We thought, the logic behind the signing was he's a big body that can play. He's got some experience in the NHL, and if there's one thing we don't mind having is that, some extra big bodies around if we need him to call them up.
There are a number of players on this current Crunch roster that could be called up to Tampa Bay if you need them. You've done that, of course. Nikita Nesterov is the most recent example. He's an all-star along with Vladimir Mesnikov. What about those 2 standing out for Syracuse this year? Why are those 2 all-stars for the Crunch?
I think they could have picked more potentially. You mentioned Mike as well, but both of them skate very well, really skilled players. Nikita in particular has really come on this year. Vladdy's got a little bit more experience in the American League. I think last year was a real learning experience for Nikita, and just the whole culture change, speaking better English this year and getting accustomed to a much smaller ice surface, the smaller North American ice surface, and then an even smaller surface here in Syracuse. But he's done very well, and Vladdy just continues to get better and better. He's flying out here tonight, has the puck a lot on his stick all the time and making a lot of good decisions with it. So, they're both really good young players, and Nikita currently up with us in Tampa, played last night, and is doing extremely well at this early stage.
You have some veterans contributing. We mentioned Blundin, Angelides, but you've got some young guys here too. Slater Cuckoo, he's a first-rounder, one of 3 rookie defensemen on this team. What is your take on the young guys, especially the rookies in their first pro seasons, and Cuckoo maybe living up to the hype as a first-rounder?
Yeah, Slater, he had a real good year last year. He's had shoulder difficulties, which we've, hopefully we've taken care of, and from the start of the season to now, he's really coming on. He's getting better and better. He learned a lot of the fine arts, I guess, of playing defense. Just the little things of angling, holding your stick in the defensive zone, taking away passing and shooting lanes, and positioning in front of the net. He can really skate, and he's got decent skills, but just the finer points of the game against these big, strong American League and then eventually NHL players. He works real hard. He's extremely competitive and very enthusiastic. Dylan, another defenseman who's really made great strides. He's smart. You see him get his shot through constantly. He's got his head up, passing the puck. He's a big boy. You got to get stronger, and playing in the American League and training hard in the gym, he can develop that lower body power. But I'm really impressed with how he's come along. And you mentioned the young guys up front too, Ike and Joel Vermeens, Tanner have really taken strides this year.
It's been fun to watch. And don't forget Jake Dotchin, who's been out a month, but perhaps playing his best hockey when he was injured. Steve, we've got to run. Thanks so much for your time.
My pleasure, man. Nice speaking with you.
Steve Yzerman, general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning, watching the Crunch here at the War Memorial tonight. It's a 3-2 lead for Syracuse going to the third. Back with more in a moment on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.